April 7th, 2022. It's currently 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I just wanted to make a quick video to recap what happened during New York session today, the volume and price action movements. So to begin, I'm just going to be reviewing the weekly candle here and the whole movements of this week. So to begin the week, we opened at around 35,100. And since the beginning of the week, we've completely broken down about 900 points to a current weekly low of about 34,200, which is a key level and a psychological price level as well. So when we kind of zoom in here to the daily, you can see this past week where we did open up here and peaked last week's all-time highs at about last week's highs of 35,400, and since then have rejected and started breaking down again about 900 points for the week, where this week's lows clocked in at around 34,200, which was actually today's daily candle, which we tested there. So you can see right here, this was the lows created at 34,200 today for the week. And that was based off of today's news. Honestly, no major news this week. The most heavy impact news, that we had for this week was the FOMC meeting minutes, which was just a recap of last month's FOMC, as the Feds have continued their hawkish view for the market and the economy in general. And today, at 8:30 a.m., we did have unemployment claims for America, as well as at 9 a.m., we did have the FOMC member Bullard, who spoke today, and there was no major points. The only thing that I saw was he did mention how Ukraine should be a reason to avoid the conflict within Ukraine should be a reason to avoid action on U.S. inflation, which I just wanted to mention. I kind of find it funny how the Feds are now blaming inflation on, the war on Russia and all this shit, when, the past 2 years during the pandemic and COVID, they were literally, I think they printed about $8 trillion and have continuously been asset purchasing and just bringing support to the economy. But obviously, all of that money printing is going to bring inflation. So I find it funny how as soon as COVID ends and a new conflict/distraction starts, that's what they then blame it on, right? It's kind of funny, and just a little point that I wanted to mention. Other than that, there was nothing major mentioned during the conference today. They were just also going over again the fact that of last month, they were reviewing that FOMC, the fact that they would like to lean into a 50 basis point hike at the May meeting coming up, which will be next FOMC. So again, rates have been rising already, and we can continue to see throughout the year. I'm predicting more of a rate rise, right? And that is obviously going to affect mortgage rates, which we have saw they've started to spike throughout the past 2 months. But honestly, in my opinion, this was expected. And since about this time last year of May, the Feds have been announcing that they intend to raise rates and battle inflation. Obviously, we've saw inflation through the roof, and I don't even think the Feds did expect this. But in general, they do seem calm. And again, it is a hawkish view right now, so it's going to stay like that as of right now. Come Friday, which is tomorrow, we do have some Canadian heavy impact news just on employment change and the unemployment rate. So if you are trading oil or anything as such, just keep in mind that. But for this week, nothing crazy for USD news. And again, other than Wednesday, we're not going to see anything else for heavy impact that's going to cause like a double-ended fucking dildo candle or something to US30. But now if we go from the daily to the 4-hour, let's further break down the price action of today during New York session. Again, fairly and relatively low volume today. But yeah, going from the 4-hour, just to further break down, this was the rejection of 35,400 that we broke down, and where we began the week at 34,100. And For the rest of the week, again, we've been in that range where we haven't broke below 34,200. And this is what I wanted to point out. And when you really zoom into the lower time frames, you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking, like when it comes to this range that prices have been stuck in this week, right? Between 35,100 and 34,200, which we do see the wick on the 4 hour, but we never closed below 34,300, which is another PPL, a psychological price level, and a key level. When we further break it down, I'll actually show you guys because I cleared the chart here. Look, it all lines up with my PPLs and key levels. But now from the 4 hour, I just want to show you the range that price has been stuck in. But now we're going to further break it down to the 1 hour, going into more lower time frames. So you can see here, this is the bottom that we've created for the week, 34,200. It completely lines up with my psychological price level. And the way that I've gathered my psychological price levels is 100 point movement on every, for US30, sorry, it's 100, every 100 point movement. And when you think of, I guess you could say retail investors being, again, obviously I myself am a retail investor, but just anyone in general when they're trading, and you're going to think US30, for example, you enter a buy at 34, 400, right? And let's say it flies as it did here, right? Retail investors, including myself, you're going to have an emotional reaction at 34, 500 wanting to take profits, right? So that's kind of how a psychological price level is established. And you can apply this rule to anything and any other commodities, even crypto, right? If you look here, I've done it with Ethereum, and obviously it's going to have a different like price gap. Again, this is every $200 is a psychological price level that I've marked up, right? So I'll further explain that in another video. I just kind of wanted to mention how I've come up with my psychological price levels. And again, I'm a student of Capital Hungry, so all my knowledge comes from him, and the way that I've traded, I've learned from him. Been studying him for the past year, and I have been a part of the paid program now for about 4 months. So yeah, I've been learning a lot, and that's kind of where I get my knowledge. Big shout out to Capital Hungry. But sorry, I've been off the point. Let me now further break down on the 1 hour here, the movements of today. So going back over the lows of this week at 34,200, we saw a clear bounce, and nothing ever broke or even tested to try and break below 34,200. We just did get some rude wicks and disgusting price action below 34,300 for about 2 hours today during New York. So this is where you would have got fucked if you were a scalper trying to do some stupid shit. Again, I'm just gonna break down the 1 minute here. When you really look, it's complete fuckery below 34,300 today. So this is where you just would sit on your hands and you wouldn't even want to enter. But as soon as we broke back above 34,300, we really started breaking out, and you could then further kind of see where price action was going. Because when it really starts fucking with like price action like this, right? It can really start fucking with your head. You could enter, you'd be like, oh, it's breaking out here above 34,300. You enter buys, and now a fucking 100 point move, and you get stopped out right away. That's what will burn your account as a scalper and completely fuck you. And I mean, I've burned multiple accounts, lost thousands of dollars from doing stupid shit like this and not learning my lesson, right? So that's where a key rule of patience pays, impulse loses comes in. And that's what I've just been trying to develop myself and really develop my discipline when it comes to trading. But yeah, so now we're going into the 30-minute. Again, this was that rejection at 34,200 where for, again, about that 2 hour time period, we were just ranging from 34,300 to 34,200. Finally started breaking above 34,300, and now it's just been clear bullish price action since, where we have started to now break above 34,500 PPL, and this is another key level where we're coming to test and fill this wick here on the 30-minute at 34,600. But it's going to be interesting because now my bias is if we break above 34,600 and we can create some clean price action above 34,600, I will be looking for buys back up to 35K. So if we can get something like this, little pullback and then start breaking above. 35K buys is my target area above 34,600, but we do need a breakout above 34,600 for those buys to be confirmed. If we don't break out above 34,600, I'm expecting we continue to range between 34,600 and 34,300. So let me just clear that. So again, if we don't fuck if we don't break above 34,600 here and come to clear this wick, I'm expecting something like here. We're going to reject, then just continue ranging, right? Tomorrow is Friday, going into the end of the week. So honestly, I don't expect too much of heavy volume throughout the rest of the week. And I mean, don't try and force a trade, right? This is where I've fucked myself too. I've realized Fridays aren't the best day to trade, and if you can't find a perfect trade setup, don't even bother for it, right? You could just end up burning your account or taking an unneeded stupid trade. So just play it smart. Um, Next week for news, let's check. Let's check here. We do have CPI next week on Tuesday, but other than that, PPI, CPI, and we do have core retail sales as well. So next week's going to be a fairly heavy impact news week. So honestly, if you don't see a perfect trade setup tomorrow, don't even bother. Just play it safe, protect your capital. Again, the whole thing about trading is staying in the game, right? You want to protect your capital. You want to play it smart. We're here to make money. We're not here to fucking lose money, right? So I hope this markup at least brought some value to you. Again, I'm just learning myself as we go, and just getting better at these videos, explaining my thoughts, and getting better at explaining price action, right? So I appreciate anyone who's listening here with me for the journey, a long journey ahead. But I'm just going to try and stay consistent with videos coming every day. I might do an Ethereum breakdown tonight, and I will have another US30 review recap tomorrow in New York, and I might do a weekly review and recap for US30 tomorrow. Just let me know what you guys are thinking. Any support helps, and I love any feedback as well. I appreciate you guys. Be doing another video tomorrow, and yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one. Hope this brought you guys some value.